And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys are sponsored by
those guys. Hey, good improvisation, Stephen. Good one. Good one there. That was pretty cool.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It is Wednesday night with those guys. And how is everyone out there doing on this hump day? How you guys doing? Stephen, we got Stephen from the Flyby guys here with us. And you know
I'm back.
You know my co-host, Novice Quads, Lawrence Clark.
Stephen, we have to get you a shirt.
You do have to get me a shirt. I actually noticed.
We have to get you a shirt because a shirt our shirts are traveling all over the United States and even Canada. We got to hit up Finland.
I noticed that. I noticed Marcus was wearing your shirt. Yeah. So you have to. And you know, I've got shirts in that cupboard over there. I could also send you guys some shirts as well. But yeah, I would like to have one of your shirts.
One quick question, Stephen. Uh-huh. Do they make 3X over there?
XL is like
or else anything else is going to look like a bikini top.
But I think you should go for that bikini top look, or even as a bandana.
No, dude, I could never come home after doing something like that.
There was a time where you wouldn't be able to make it from the train station.
Nope, not in my neighborhood. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been a while. When have I last spoken to you guys? I think it was in January.
You were still traveling to Asia.
Yeah, but I think it was
still your last. I think you were doing your last trip in Asia.
Yeah.
Stephen.
Was that sorry?
So you got a new setup there.
This is now the Flyby Guys office now. So we've moved to a new office, which is not too far from my home. It's only like a 10-minute walk from my home, which is really good.
Okay,
it's right in the center of Helsinki. It's slap. You couldn't get any more center. It's in a great location. But it's only a 10-minute walk from my home. So that's why it's.
Hey, to recover, Draymond says, tell Stephen. They have some good tent makers at the Flyby Guys.
Good. Yeah, we'll get some over there for Lawrence. It's okay. We'll get some for Lawrence. I'll have to actually bring up the chat.
There was an old joke about that years ago. Omar the tent maker.
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
Well, you should tell us because some may not know of it.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a New York thing, but when you always got the big guy and there's no sizes for them, you always call up Omar the tent maker.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? Welcome to Wednesday Nights with those guys. As you see, we have I can say you're a special guest because you're traveling so much, Stephen, that I literally have to follow you on Twitter just to tell what country you're in at any given day.
Well, you can actually. Well, I've been home now for 2 weeks, which has been really nice. I've literally had 2 weeks, so and my team are currently in Germany right now, so they're just finishing off some.
It pays to be the boss.
It pays to be the boss. Sometimes
you could say I'm going home for 2 weeks.
So I've literally had 2 weeks at home, which has been absolutely bliss. I've so much enjoyed being home for a while because I've been traveling nonstop pretty much since the beginning of the year. And tomorrow I'm heading off to Brussels tomorrow, so I have an early morning flight. So I'll finish up here tonight, and then I'll go home for 5 hours sleep, and then I'll be on a flight tomorrow morning to Brussels.
Hey, what really quick? Herman, Wayne B was one of the other people that won a shirt, and he said, I forgot to send the info. Go to the About Me section on Herman's YouTube page and send him an email and say it's me right now, and send him your shirts off.
Wayne B? That's you talking about, Wayne B?
Yes.
Yeah, he never sent me his information.
Yes, so he just remembered. We brought up.
I got to get those shirts out too.
We brought up shirts, but Those guys have shirts in Canada, throughout the United States. We're working on trying to get some over in the UK, and we definitely got to hit up Finland.
Definitely,
We
definitely.
definitely want to have something over there.
I will send you. I will send you my details, Herman, and if you can
Yes,
get, I'll also send you guys a couple of shirts as well. There you go.
You might have to cut them open and sew them together, but I'll still wear it.
I can get 2 larges, and then you can sew them together or something.
Yeah. You know, just like you take 2 twin beds and make a king. Yeah, same concept.
No, you don't gotta do that. All you gotta do is cut it out from the armpit and put a piece of the shirt in the on the arm right here, so it stretches from the side.
Yeah, right. Something elastic or something. I sent the word out about drone shows over fireworks, and I think the Queen celebration was a good promo for drone shows. The flyby guys.
It was. I don't know if you've seen my. I'm starting this kind of news video thing, which I put one out last week, and I was talking about this Queen celebration that they had for that, and that was an incredible drone show because for the one reason they didn't get to rehearse in that location. They had actually rehearsed in the north of the country, and then they set up, and then they done the show. Now we're going to talk about something which would have scared me with that show, and that is interference, radio interference, GPS interference, which we're going to talk about later on, obviously. But the fact that show was it was so perfect that 400 drones took off and 400 drones landed. I know that because the guys who done the show, they actually contacted me because they seen my video and they were thanking me for, and they were just saying that it was so perfect. 400 drones took off and 400 drones landed in that location for that amount of people with that amount of infrastructure around it. That is very, very special. That was an incredible show.
And it also shows you where technology is going too.
Yeah, I think that they either worked really hard with the military and the police and also the BBC to make sure that any interference would not have affected those drones, because when radio interference, which again we're talking about later on, but radio interference is a big thing, and when you have that amount of people in that kind of small amount of area, and then you have TV cameras, you have all the LED.
Yeah, everyone's broadcasting something.
Yeah, and that all emits radio frequency. Now, that could have been a disaster. That could have been an absolute disaster. And I know for a fact that those guys were sweating when those drones took off. they were sweating, and when those drones landed, I think there was probably quite a few beers drunk that day, and quite rightly so, because it was impressive. And I did say to those guys, this is really,
Steven, I want to ask you this. Lawrence did a story the other day about this drone swarm that you can, I guess the average guy could probably get his hands on, where he can control, was it 4 drones?
It was the teal drones. They're on the blue UAS list, and Teal just came out with something called 4, the number 4, ship, SHIP, not SHIT. 4 ship. I have to specify that. But this actually allows, this program will actually allow the consumer to buy this kit, and it consists of being able to control 4 drones at one time, pretty much for the same thing like you guys are doing in Germany for line inspection, electrical inspection. So now where it may take 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you can use 4 drones to scan each side of this device or whatever it is you're scanning.
I'm not sure how regulation would work with that in certain countries. It's okay to say that would be released, but
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you would need special permission in order to control 4 drones because sorry, my lights have just been out in my office and I need to go and press the button again actually.
Well,
Uh,
see, I mean, the objective of it is
Either
the
that or keep
objective
moving.
of it is to actually be able to do a large scale, say, mapping
Mhm.
mm,
or cover a wide area. You could spread them 4 across, and to actually be able to hot swap the drones. One of the kits they sell is only 4 drones. The advanced, the pro kit, give you 6 drones. And the
yeah,
idea of that is, as what the battery gets low on one drone, it returns the recharge. You can send another one up without breaking the connection.
yeah.
But
I'm not sure how, let's say, how popular that would be for many companies just now.
well,
There's
they did.
always there's this thing what they call fleet management where they would be looking for that kind of thing. So you need to have good fleet management software.
Okay.
Good fleet management software would, and then you need to have like you need to have a digital twin, so that this can be done very accurately as well. So, and I think that we're almost there. I mean, I think we're almost there, but I'm not sure if we're quite there.
I agree.
I'm still skeptical about the whole fleet management thing. I mean, you see what's happening. You have these robots that are on the ground and they're all going out and they're
Mhm.
and then of course you have Wing who are doing all their drone deliveries as well. Wing
Yeah.
are certainly Wing here in Finland are doing beyond visual line of sight, and they're using their own UTM as well. So they have a fleet management in there. It is working well. It's going, but they still have a lot of work to do. I know that because they told me actually last
I
week.
know. Well,
Well, Wing.
Yeah.
you're saying
You're talking
Wing
about
told you because, and I would tend to agree with you because here's my issue. They
Mhm.
made it very clear in the advertisement and the launch of this 4 ship, P as in Peter,
or ship.
that yeah, that they are gearing more towards the Department of Defense
Mhm.
and things like that. And then my problem is once it starts getting involved, the government starts getting involved,
Mhm.
it usually goes off somewhere where someone says, hey, what happens if we attach a blinding laser to this? Or what happens
Well,
if we
Well, you know what?
again,
I don't think that that's something that's ever going to get into consumer hand.
never. Now, I know, again, we've just seen the news about Axon and this taser drone as well, and how that was really, that wasn't going to take off, and I think that even if you look at enterprise, or you're looking at a consumer, even when it comes to enterprise that is going to the emergency services, weaponizing something like that is not cool. It isn't going to work. Even if this Axon, they are making the tasers, they're actually making tasers. They actually sell tasers.
wow.
So but when it comes to making a taser drone, no, that wasn't going to work. That really wasn't going to work. So it just shows you that even the companies that make the tasers are not able to. They are not going to go forward. So actually weaponizing these things is not going to happen.
Yeah, that would start demonizing the industry. It would do a lot for
Could you imagine
to
someone?
hurt something that's trying to evolve.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you see what's happening in Ukraine just now, you see all these videos of these guys that are, where they're modifying, a Mavic 2 Pro or a Mavic 3 Pro, even an Air 2S or a Phantom 4, they are modifying them to a point where, they're dropping bombs through sunroofs of cars.
Yeah,
It is quite incredible. No one is having a backlash on that. If that was any other country, if that was any other country in the world that was doing that, there would be an outcry. But because it's Ukraine, it's okay. And of course, we are supporting that.
Right, of course.
Every little bit helps to, but if that was any other country, you can guarantee there would be a backlash.
Oh yeah, of course. Without saying.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and turn on my office. I need to go to my front door of the office and put the light on. Just give me 2
Go
seconds.
for it.
We're here.
Well, all I can say is we got a pretty interesting live stream coming up tonight, and
A few
I
things.
look forward to it.
I'm quite sure everybody tuned in this morning to check out the DJI's launch. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We got a few stories.
You see, Gary says, "Hi, Neil. How are you getting this heat wave too? Because the heat wave is all the way up in Canada.
Well,
That's coming our way this week, next week."
so Canada goes from snow, that last week of snow.
Okay, Leonard, we're still here. I know Canada, right? Like they're going through a little mini heat wave now, and
Mhm.
tomorrow it'll snow.
Well, not just yet. Not just yet.
Yeah.
Not just yet. Not just yet.
We all can't
Late
afford
August, early September.
a Boeing Predator.
You know, but
Yeah.
there's a few things going on. You know, one of the things that I wanted to mention, you know, Lawrence, was talking about different things on drones and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Well, you know, this Japanese Nighthawk search and rescue service, you know,
Yeah.
they're a team that is using infrared technology to perform missions at night. You know, the Nighthawk search and rescue team signed an agreement with the Nisha Cohen town in the Yomagata Perfection Agreement. Now, this is running from May through November, you know, to begin night operations.
I'm back. Sorry.
You know, they're gonna have a 24-hour service desk.
Yes. And,
You know.
and I think that's really good. See, these guys went and they sold themselves to the town that they live in.
Mhm.
They sold themselves right now. I guess search and rescue is quite prevalent where they live. People get lost in the woods, and what better way to find people than to have a search and rescue company come in and offer their services to the town.
Well, in all actuality, the mountain area and that where they are is a lot of people flock to it, both locals and
Yeah,
tourists.
tourist. Yeah, it's a
And
tourist
a lot
attraction.
Of people get lost. A lot of people get lost in that area. You know, so it's a good thing. I mean, you know.
Well, this place is called Let's see if I'm pronouncing it right. Nishikawa town. The town of Nishikawa is at the foot of Mount Glasson, and it's only one of 100 famous mountains in Japan. So I guess you would need a 24-hour call line for search and rescue.
That would help, right? You think?
I would hope so.
It's also really, it's a nice use of drones as well. It's giving that extra bit of niche, because you don't have the ability to see from the ground. You obviously see more from the air. So, I think it's a good thing. I think finally they're getting to see what drones can do.
Yeah, especially when you got a 24-hour service, people out there walking around. Well, people are going to wander around anyway. And
apparently with all of those mountains there and it being a big tourist attraction, what happens when people come to New York? They get lost. So I could imagine in the mountains, in the woods, you say, I'm going for a little walk down this path. You remember, Herman, when we were supposed to be going to the meetup, and Stephen, he'll never let me forget this, and I'll never live it down. But I said, let's go this way. He said, let's go that way. I said, let's go this way. It's faster. We went from walking up a hill, to the concrete turning into a dirt, turning into mud, turning into us climbing up this cliff. It was like the sidewalk went away, the dirt path went away, and we had to climb our way to the top of this place.
I bet
So-
you were really annoyed, Lawrence.
I wasn't annoyed. Herman was more so annoyed. He's got me fucking climbing.
What bothered me about it, Stephen, there's this woman who was jogging in the park.
Yes.
And we saw her jogging past us at the bottom of the hill. And when we finally got to the top, she jogged past us again. And when we got down to the bottom, she jogged past us again.
A third
So
time.
my thing is, which way is she going, and can we not go that way?
Right. Because she passed us several times. And Herman even asked, he says, is this the way down? She says, yeah, just follow this path right here. And you make a little left, a little right, and you're at the base of the park. And she did pass us 3 times. And this is like a little hillside that goes from sea level to maybe, how high is that over the highway, Herman? Maybe about 100 feet?
I have no idea. I know it was over the apartment buildings.
Yeah. So mind the point I'm making is Herman will never take directions from me again.
Salad for the barbecue.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Don't let me carry food. I drop food.
Okay.
He gave me some lettuce. We were having a barbecue. Our first Those Guys meetup, and we're packing up his car. And he said, "Hold this," and I held the lettuce. And I don't know if it was an involuntary motion or psychologically saying him giving me this healthy stuff, but the lettuce went flat in the street.
Yeah, it's only lettuce. It's okay. It's only lettuce.
Yeah, but then we had to go upstairs and get more.
It belongs on the ground. if it was back home again.
You know what's funny also that came up, Lawrence?
What's that?
The U.S., right, has got their eyes on drones that they want to deploy
Oh, you're gonna like this, Stephen.
to eradicate, listen to this one, cocaine crops in Colombia.
In Colombia, yes.
Yeah, so the U.S. Department of State has filed a requisite initiating a project that, if carried out, would deploy commercial drones to spray poison on illegal cocaine crops in Colombia.
In a swarm.
At the base of the country's booming cocaine project.
Do you know what's wrong with that?
You're poisoning everything else around the area.
No. Okay, yeah, but let's face it, they're not even going to get that far. Now, most of I'm not a specialist on drug cartels or anything, right?
But you think it'll get shot down?
Absolutely. I don't think they'll get anywhere near. Most of these drug cartels. I mean, when you look at Mexico, for example, you look at the Mexican drug cartels. They are better equipped militarily. Hardware. They even have their.
They're a small army.
They even have their own mobile networks. They don't use the same mobile networks as a public uses. They have their own private networks. Now, obviously, I'm not sure about Colombia, of course, but obviously Colombia being famous for that type of stuff. I would imagine that the cartels would have the same type of infrastructure, and they would be able to shoot down these drones very easily, whether it be with radio frequency jammers, which I'm very sure that they're used to doing anyway, because they would be jamming frequencies so that people don't listen to them on the radios because they're getting
of course
private networks. So it will be very easy to bring these things down. We're getting back into radio frequency jamming again, which we're going to be talking about with this thing later on. But the reality is that these kind of organizations, they are so well equipped. You just have to go and read about what they do and how well organized they are. And for the government to say we're going to send drones in, these guys are just going to go.
Example.
Yeah, fine.
I'm going to give the perfect example to concur with what you're saying about how technologically advanced they are. They've just found a third tunnel coming into the United States from Mexico that they say was probably built 15, 20 years ago. Air conditioned rooms, refrigerators, everything along the way, a railway system, a loading platform.
Yeah. The Mexicans are already using drones.
But think about
Mexicans
this:
are using drones.
But think about this: if you can tunnel your way into a country and not be known for 15, 20 years and conduct business, you're a badass.
Yeah, of course. I know. That's why I think that it's probably just a PR stunt. If they were going to be doing that, they would have done it by now. They're not going to advertise they're going to do it.
You know what I think is funny? Why you and not the country itself?
Because the country's corrupt.
Well, how are they going to let you just fly right into drones and just do it?
They know fine well if they go in and they do something like that, they'll be cutting their own arm off because
true.
The heart of corruption lies within who's running the country. I'm not saying Colombia is a completely corrupt country or anything, but I'm just saying that if this, they don't run the country. A lot of these large drug, if you want to say cartels,
You mean it's not like here, United States, a bunch of old men run it?
Absolutely not. No. You should be more like Finland and have a young, beautiful woman run the country. That's how it is.
Listen,
what happened?
The kind of business that we were talking pre-show, and I don't want to mention it, but the kind of business we were talking pre-show should allow me to be able to visit Finland whenever you say, come on, let's go. Let's come hang out. That's what I'm working towards.
There you go.
That's what we're working towards, man.
That is what you want. Then you can come and you can see that we don't have old men running the country here. You have young, beautiful women running the country here who are very, very, very smart as well. So So I just find it interesting that kind of story comes out. I think that most of these stories, when they come out, they're just PR stunts. They're just talking about, scaring them. But whether they actually do them or not, I doubt it very much.
Yeah, I didn't think that would take off either because cocaine has been booming for how long? And just
decades and decades and decades. I could go as far as to say half a century since I've been alive and before I was alive. So they're just
you could have did this with a helicopter if it was all of that. Now you want to get a guy in close.
Yeah. So think about that. That's a very, very good point, Herman. You get a guy, because those things, you can't really fly those things too far away. You can fly them maybe a kilometer. Again, are you talking about trying to get near these fields? They're having a laugh. They're having a laugh. The guy won't last it. These frequency guys, they will have people who can find. They'll have spectrum analyzers. They will, if they see something, they will find that person. And if you're flying a drone anywhere near a cocaine field, then you better hope that you have a bulletproof vest on and a lot of guards around you, because you're not going to last very long.
You better have a hell of a getaway vehicle.
What kind of system they're going to use, because there are drones that you can fly long range beyond visual line of sight.
Right, and there are also shielded drones. But once it's transmitting, therein lies the problem. Once you have one source of radio, one radio source.
I totally understand what you're saying, but my whole thing is that you're gonna do this now. Years ago, we had helicopters. You're talking about having to have your place.
I'm just wondering how long it will take the U.S. Army to get beyond visual line of sight permission from the Colombian FAA in order to get them to fly. Don't they think that they might be a bit that
Listen,
the information might.
I'm expecting someone from the government to say, "Hey, you guys gonna have some target practice today."
Yeah,
You know?
of course you are. Of course you are. We're saving money, but don't shoot them down over the field, because if that drone lands and the battery goes on fire, we'll lose the entire crop.
They might be down with it. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's all rubbish. I think that I think it's all rubbish.
All I know is I'd like to be at a distance with a high-powered camera while recording the drones taking off, and we're recording them going down one by one, like ducks in a row. Huh?
Skeet shooting?
Yeah, like skeet shooting. Whoa!
Yeah,
You know?
true. Very true.
Hey, what's up, James Earl? How are you, man? Welcome to Wednesday Nights with Those Guys. It's 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it's late over there where you are, Stephen.
Yeah, it's 12:30 at night.
In another country, you'd be eating sushi.
Yeah,
What?
I would be.
You said?
It's 12:30 at night here. Yeah.
Okay, 12:30 at 12:30 here. Lawrence is asleep.
I'm in my third dream by then. More like try
yeah.
10:30, 9:30, 10:30.
See,
It's still light outside here as well. It's still light.
That's crazy.
yeah.
The sun doesn't go down very much here during the summertime.
Now I have one question for you,
Yep.
Stephen.
Yep.
What are you gonna? Hey, Johnny Drone Flyer. What are you gonna put on that wall by you over your right shoulder?
I don't know. This is something that we're actually talking about.
Can I
what
give
we
you
do
one
here.
idea until you come up with something?
Go on.
Find the largest digital screen you can and make it a window.
Yeah,
That looks
true.
into another window.
Because you can make it a digital window. It could be raining outside. It could be a scene looking out a window towards something. I mean, just food for thought. Hey, little Laura.
I don't have a window in this office, but I'm thinking, it is kind of small, but we might get a larger office in the next month or two, just across or even on the corner. But this is like, there's lots of offices in here actually, and there's actually quite a few aviation companies in here as well. So I've had people, I've actually had people banging my door going, "You're the flyby guys," and I'm going, "Yeah, who the hell are you?" So it's nice. Hey, Johnny Drone Flyer, how you doing? Lots of people in tonight.
So when you moved in, did they welcome you to the place?
Yes, they did. We they practically, when we were looking for an office and we came here, they were really, they were wanting us to come here so much. So they were discounting, they were giving us all these discounts and stuff in order to try to get us in, because they wanted to have us in here, which of course I was happy with, because I'm happy to be in the city. I'm happy to just have a 10-minute walk, so, and it's nice. I can just come in, put the camera on, put the light on, and then that's me.
And you're ready to go. Everything's wired and ready to go.
Yeah. Everything is up and ready,
That's what I would need. I would need my own little den area with and just so I could have a setup where I'm working on my drones, and then on the other corner I could have my setup where I can do live streams, I have conference calls or whatever may be.
Yeah.
But you got everything set up, right?
Everything's set up. I've got my charging desk over there. I've got all my drones up there. They're up there charging, and I've got another desk which is for Chris, but Chris doesn't come here too often. But I've just got lots of hard hats on that desk.
Chris is in Germany, right?
Chris is at home waiting on his wife about to give birth, actually. So
okay. Congratulations to him and his family.
Yeah. So he's waiting on his third coming now. So she will be due any day now, actually, any day now. Yeah, any day now. And actually, he's asked me if I would be the godfather to his child, which I'm
Oh,
obviously
All right,
very happy
okay.
to.
congratulations.
Are you ready for this?
I'm
Are
ready.
you
as
ready for
ever,
godfathership?
I'm ready. Welcome to the family, So
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
always,
Right, right, right. Welcome to the family.
so it's but I mean, my team are currently in Germany. I've got Michael there who's leading a couple of guys. They're doing all the flights all over the country just now. They're in fact they should be
What's
finished
up,
by
Big
now.
Matt?
They should be finished by now. So I think they're all heading home in the
Big
next
Matt.
in the next.
What's good?
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Congratulations to Chris. You got your team out there. You've got 2 weeks home. It's life is comfortable.
Yeah, don't get too
It's
comfortable.
don't get too
going.
comfortable. Always stay on your toes. Always stay on your toes. I'm as I'm heading off to Brussels tomorrow. I'm off to do some European legislation stuff as well. So I'm
Okay.
I'm more
Did you
on
get
that
any
side.
on any high-speed trains over there?
I was on one of the high speed trains in Germany a few weeks ago. Actually, I was on one
I
of
was.
those. It wasn't that fast. I think it was going maybe 200 kilometers an hour. But the one
Okay.
in Taiwan that I took that went 312 kilometers per hour. That was
Okay.
fast, unbelievably fast.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm only asking because I'm a rail fan. That 200 is converted is 124 miles per hour for you guys that don't know. And I was only asking because here on the Eastern Corridor of the United States between Philadelphia, no, there's a section of track in New Jersey that heads towards New York. They just started their Acceler trains and they have just redone the track and they clocked one at 152. So now they have a little, hey, Tammy Jean, now they have a little highway section that they can open it up to 150 something miles per hour. And then, of course, they have to slow down by the time they get to top speed. But hey,
Well, you
Did
know
you-
what it is, Lawrence?
Did you
To get into certain places, and the fact that we have such an old rail system is why we can't take advantage of some of these type of trains that you see being developed in other places.
right.
Yeah.
What were you saying? What were you saying, Stephen?
No, did you see my video when I was in Germany a few weeks ago of the train that was hanging down?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you
yes,
see that?
yes.
That was an incredible piece of engineering. That was in a place called Wuppertal, and they have the only hanging train in the world. And
That's crazy. But
it's mental. And it's amazing to watch. And it was right outside my hotel window, so I could lie in my bed and just watch this train go by. It was cool.
I've seen monorails done like that, but never a train.
Yeah. I've seen two car monorails, but for that to actually be a working subway system, that's got to be bug you out and
Right.
really, like you said, it's a mental thing because you're used to seeing the trains on top.
Yeah. It's kind of opposite land, and it just hangs down. And I had seen documentaries about this because this was built in I think it was 1918. It was really long time ago.
Wow.
And the fact that it actually survived World War II, and and it's still going strong. It's still going, and it's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, it was cool. I was in a I was in a good mood when I seen it, and I could watch it all night or all day.
Well, I wanted to bring up a quick story. It's not anything of importance, and most of us know about this, but the story goes on to say this. Well, the story was on the 13th, but at Boone County Regional Airport in Arkansas, a recreational drone was discovered just 15 feet from the runway. Now, they deemed it to be it was only about 6 inches, a small toy drone. And they can't stress enough how that particular airport is in Class E airspace, and you're not allowed to get anywhere from 4 miles in the air because of that Class E airspace. They just go on to say that the FAA has never endorsed flying near airports, and they were just more so pissed that even though it was a toy grade drone, it did not have a registration number on it. And the point I'm trying to make is the average person that buys a toy grade drone has no idea or clue that you're supposed to register the drone if it's over 250 grams. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you know what? I'm curious to know because, this thing, most airports, I don't know how this airport is situated, but most airports, there's nowhere that anyone within any range of where any of the homes are, any place where your person would able to fly such a thing, such as this toy drone, or would be
Right.
this toy drone, could get it into the airport. Period.
Right.
I
But
think
they
this
do go
was-
on to
I
say in
think
the
this was
story
a
that,
flyaway.
but 9 times out of
I
10,
think it
that's
was
the
a
conclusion that they
flyaway,
came
and
to.
because I checked out this toy drone. I
Yeah.
went and checked out this toy drone. It's really a cheap little toy drone, like the story.
I have a picture. Wait a minute. I think I
Like
have
the
a
story
picture
was
of it.
talking. They believed that it was a little bit more than a $50 toy drone.
Yeah, here's a picture of it right
It's about
here.
6 inches in diameter. So I mean, really, it's not. It's not
It
that.
got it. It was a flyaway. This connector right here, I'm telling you right now, looks like it went to a 2 cell or 1 cell battery.
Mhm.
And but the FAA was saying in the story also that most people that fly drones know that they have to register them, and this had to be someone who was inexperienced and brought it, and they took, the first thing a kid does, because it has brush motors and everything, but the first thing a kid does is take the drone straight up to see how high it can go, and then the wind catches it, and that's it. That's the last time they see it.
Gone.
Right. Now, the
And it's gone.
father or whoever brought it had no idea that you may have needed to register it or that they were in Class E airspace. And herein lies the problem, because I believe, I'm a firm believer that even with toy grade drones, you should make them, the FAA was saying, even with toy grade drones, you should take the trust test.
You're right, but once again, I don't believe that maybe even these people were even in that airspace, because I looked at this drone and I looked at some of the videos that were on YouTube with this drone, and this thing might have caught on to a frequency. The propellers are flying. This thing shot up into the air. The wind took it, and this thing kept traveling and traveling and traveling until it crashed.
Yeah. But
everything is what if. At the end of the day, a drone was found next to the runway
on the airport,
obviously, and that is obviously causing concern to the FAA, and it just really goes to show that the FAA don't have control. They don't have control of all the drones, as much as they would like to have control over what is being bought and what is flown and who registers. That is not the case.
Here's the last thing I want to read about before we go on with what we're talking about later on in the stream, because I know you want to talk about some stuff, Stephen. I don't know when Herman has that queued up, but I want people to know this, because you can play dumb if you want to, but right here, this is straight from the FAA. It was reported to the it is a federal offense, even though this is a recreational drone with no tracking information. It was reported to the FAA administration proper procedure. If they located, this is their procedure. If they located who owns the drone, they would have a conversation with them. And the conversation could wind up being either a $10,000 fine or 5 years in prison.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
So
But,
don't, well, the guy that hit the helicopter, supposedly here in Staten Island, whatever, they
well,
gave him a smack on the hand.
well, Lawrence, follow this one.
Yeah.
Like I said to you before, and I said it once again. Here's the guy, right? You remember the guy in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
How far his drone traveled by itself.
True. True.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To you?
Yeah.
Now, I'm
yeah.
not saying that this thing has the same technology. Nowhere near that.
Hey, what's up, Harley?
But once again, it could have been a kid. And this thing, he shot it up in the air, like you said. It took off onto somebody else's television frequency.
Probably.
And carried some other frequency clean down into God knows where. Look what happens sometimes when guys were using, you remember the FT Aviator? Look at some of the
Yes.
stuff that went on with that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So anything's possible.
Well,
You
I
know,
just wanted.
what
I just
what
wanted
I
to-
did notice is that the airport also has no knowledge of anything flying into it other than airplanes.
Well, it could have been so small that it might not even have been
Well, see,
noticeable.
that's exactly what I was going to say, Stephen. The fact that it's barely transmitting at 2.4 by itself with that little 2S battery, they probably never even picked it up on radar.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
They might have picked it up. They might have picked it up as a small flock of birds, or even if they picked up any radio frequency from it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It but it's still cause for concern. It's still, it's going. It will make someone at the FAA rather busy for the next couple of weeks for sure.
Right, but what the FAA should do, or someone somewhere somehow, even if it's a toy grade drone, it should be a requirement to take the trust test so that at least people are aware. Right now, you can go into any store and buy any drone and not know shit about it.
But is there
and walk out the store with it and take it home and be ready to fly within minutes to an hour? Any drone.
But is there a requirement to take the trust test?
Yes. The FAA says if you are flying recreationally, and this is
there isn't.
No,
there isn't.
No.
No.
Who puts the trust test out? Because I'm about to go look for it now.
There's nothing that says you must take the trust test.
Wow. Now see.
Okay, you just said so yourself. Anyone can walk into a store and purchase.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why that person must take the trust test. If
Recreational recreation. I'm looking at the website now. Recreational flyers can access the trust test here. Upon completion of the recreational flyers test, you can print a digital copy. There is nothing here that says you must take the test.
The trust test has been out. I activated my Mavic 3, right? The trust test has been out since the Air 2S has been out, right?
Yeah.
I activated that drone. It never asked me for any numbers to put in that says that I took this thing or did I have a 107. So there's nothing that says you must to use these things. You just don't get caught, or but there's no must to have to use or have. And that's
what are the laws where you are in Finland, Stephen?
Well, we have to. Well, I mean, even if you're flying a sub 250, you let's say, you can take the A2, A3, which of course I have, and also A1, A3. I also have the A2, which allows me to fly the heavier drones as well. But you don't have to have your, let's say, ID on the drone. I do have
in
my
your
ID
country
on all
in
the
Finland. In Finland, you do not.
No, but we're also working in other countries as well, so we have to have the IDs on them anyway because we're flying in different countries.
Right.
So as an example, we are at the moment flying in Germany. Now we are flying under EASA, which we are under here as well. But the thing is, in Germany, even though we're under European law, in Germany, you still have all those federal states. So there's all the federal states in Germany, and they all have their own rules and regulations.
Now, see, that's a little scary.
And it's now this is where my let's say my team come in. So we have Michael, who he is German born actually, but he lives in Dubai. He's lived in Dubai for about 20 years, but he speaks German, so it's easy for him to work through all these federations to get permissions for us to fly.
I got you.
But otherwise, we would never have been able to do that. So if we were wanting to fly in Germany, it would have been an absolute nightmare because everywhere's different. Everywhere it's easy, and then other places it's more difficult. Some you have to go through hoops to get the permission, and others it's just okay, fly. So you can't take it for granted. So
hey, what's up, Mark?
When you have that, let's say when someone says we want you to do this, it might take 2-3 weeks to get permission when in fact you have to have that done within a week. So it's really difficult. However, if you're flying a sub 250, you don't have to go through all that.
Right.
So you can fly without having permission. So we've been quite busy this week, or let's say last week, buying sub 250s. we've been trying. I've got my Mini 3. I'm happy with it. I don't have any issues with it. But in Germany, they've had to buy let's say Mini 2s and stuff. So
well, you know what? I wanted to get into that, but first I wanted to know if anyone, I'm quite sure everyone saw that the launch this morning, set a new standard. I'm quite sure everybody saw the launch this morning.
Yes.
So DJI has once again with their Pro series.
Congratulations, Marcel received. He said thank you for the shirt. Another shirt in Canada, I believe. Okay, go. Thank you, Marcel.
Thank you. Yeah, well, DJI's Pro Series released today with, they released a few new products that what some guys might take advantage of and find that was, be very useful to them. And, there's been a lot of talk about this launch, but I see DJI has come out with, what is it, the new ZemUse X9 extension cable for the, one of the things that came out with today was for the 4D, the Ronin 4D. And now they're officially L-Mount Alliance. So those of you guys who have one of these Ronin 4Ds and you have any Panasonic cameras, with the Lumix series, I should say, your L-Mount, which for your full frame cameras, those lenses will now work with it. So eat your heart out if you have both. And they've come out with this new DJI transmission system, which is beautiful because they what is it? They've brought, reception monitoring, the control and recording all into one with this new system. So they've come out with this what is it, the 03 Pro transmission technology. This thing will transmit up to 20,000 feet is their transmission distance on this thing. So, they packed a lot into this new system. It goes, they have a lot of things in it. So like I said, also with this, the transmission, you're talking about 1080p at 60 frames per second, and live audio at 16 bits to 48 hertz. So they've done a lot with this, and they've also added a DFS band to the to your regular 2.4 and 5.8. So I don't know how that works here in the
Well,
States.
for the guys that know what all of that stuff is, they're probably dribbling over themselves like a baby with a rattle.
So, you
because
talk
they're
about
speaking Chinese to me.
23 channels. So it's basically what they're looking for to make sure that, because let me finish. It supports audio frequency hopping. So this is just like what your drones did. Keep finding the clear frequency to keep you moving on a clean frequency. This is why DJI drones are able to get so far, because they frequency hop.
Yeah. The frequency are reliable.
Right. So this is basically the same technology into this. So that way, when you're transmitting video and audio over a distance, you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose, but you don't want it to come out that way, because this is a lot of money involved. So I mean, they've also came up with this integrated monitoring system that has a 7-inch screen with 1,500 nits, and that can handle up to multiple receivers. It's basically a remote control. Because it supports a lot of things. It supports the Ronin 4D, the handles, the gimbal handles. It also supports Master Wheel and DJI Force.
Okay.
So in there, and you're talking about mirror control mode, where the it can remote control the interface on the Sony mirrorless cameras.
So basically, you don't need 3 cameramen anymore.
Somewhat saying this looks like it's taking a lot of jobs to me, but
nah, you still
there's
need
still a lot of
people.
guys involved.
Yeah.
But
it's just simplifying a lot of things, but you still need people to actually.
It does.
It's just condensing them into one whole solution.
She says it only costs $11,500. Jokingly, of course. We don't know the price.
Yeah,
but,
it will be more. It will be more.
Oh, you do have the price.
Yeah, I got the price on all of this. I got the price and the specs and the rundowns on all of this, because honestly, when I was looking at the Ronin S3, and I was looking at the Ronin that that I have, and I was like, they heard me complaining. They've heard me complaining. And I'm quite sure and you asked Lawrence, what can they do to make it better?
I did. Yeah, you're right.
Well, what they do new with it? Who knows what they do? We asked before, what could be new with it? Well, they came out with, and this was something that I love this, because when I first got the Ronin, I thought I broke it. And for this reason and this reason alone, they came out with a new automated lock system. So when you turn it on, you turn the power switch on, it automatically unlocks all of the motors. Whereas that you had to unlock all of the motors first and then power it on, or you'd burn up the motors.
To balance it.
No, it automatically goes in. When you turn it on, it automatically goes into its mode, whether you have it balanced or not. But if you don't unlock them, the motor is fighting to do what it's supposed to do. It can't calibrate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with this one,
and and that is very, that is very, very frustrating, obviously, as well. It's
Right, and if
frustrating.
you burn up that motor, now you got to send
That's
it in.
it. Exactly. But what
And
I
you
want
just-
to know, what I want to know is that DJI can make all these like incredible hardware. They can simplify
Mhm.
the solution into one whole kind of product, but they can't make a really nice and easy gimbal cover for a drone.
It's funny you say that because we had a mini meetup here, Stephen,
Yeah.
and a lady came to the meetup, a young lady came to the meetup with a Best Buy bag. She had just she got out of the Uber, she went to Best Buy, brought it, heard we were having a meetup, and she came with the DJI Mini. And
Wow.
when she goes, "What's this?" and goes, and I'm like, "Oh my God, she just broke the camera." But I swear, I almost fainted. I almost fainted. But
Was
and
this
I ran
was
over.
this
Huh?
was this the woman who done the hand catch?
Yes. Well, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 not her.
No.
Not her.
No.
It was another young lady that was there with her, with
Right.
us that day.
Oh,
There were two
okay,
young
okay.
ladies there. The one that does the hand catch is Luna. She's no joke. We were like, so we really want to go to another spot. She's like, okay, cool. Do you mind if I burn a battery? She turned around, set up, and was like, and I was in awe because I see some men that take longer than that to take off and fly.
She looked like she looked confident with that hand catch, or let's say
That's how she launches too.
Oh no, I think it's fantastic. I think it's
You know
great.
what it is, Lawrence? You know what it is? I think guys come out and they try to get territorial, right?
Okay, Harley.
And they spread the story that the propellers will chop your arm off, so it deters a lot of people. But yeah, talking about this, you're talking about what else is new. Well, they have a Bluetooth shutter button. Now, no longer do you have to have the cable to do the shutter on it. It'll just, you can hit the record once you set it up, your camera and everything to the with the Raven Eye and everything. It'll just your button.
You can press the button via Bluetooth.
Right. Once you connect your camera Bluetooth to that instead of,
or you can start recording or whatever.
You can just use the record button to shoot and to record and everything with that.
But
So that was another.
I don't like these Bluetooth buttons because you still have that little delay. You have that slight delay on it, even with Bluetooth. There's, even if it's just a fraction, call me old fashioned, but I'll just press the button on the camera.
But see, that was the thing, Stephen. They were saying if anyone knew from the launch, and even I did the same thing, because of the way it worked before with the cable. There's so many cables on it. You're afraid that something's going to get caught up.
Yeah. That
you would just rather just hit the button on the camera, and sometimes it would move the camera.
Yeah. I know. So that's when you want to have a 3-second delay, that when you hit the button, it will then go afterwards. So I do that with my own camera.
I mean, it's
if I'm taking a
nitpick,
picture. It's a nitpick. I know. I'm not the greatest.
The feature takes away a nitpick, but I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, it made it easier to balance now because they gave you multiple the hot shoe plates, so you can set it. And once you like I said before, because of the lock system and everything, now when you set it up, it just automatically folds away just like that. So you don't have to worry about all of the rebalancing and everything. So it has a fine tuning knob, whereas opposed to before you were like, okay, you got to slide the camera a little bit more and slide a little bit more. And the fine tuning knob, once you get into that area, you can just adjust it back and forth. So it's a few different things that came with it. Comes on it. The weight stays in the same. at the 2.8 pounds, but you know it gets 20% improvement in stabilization power from the RS2 series. And what is it? It's 6.6 pounds capacity on the payload.
Okay.
You know, and now it has the 1.8-inch OLED touchscreen. So you got 80% more screen surface area. There's a lot of different things packed into it. But you know, going into this, you have, you know, the 12-hour battery life on the battery grip, and those are interchangeable. You can swap in and swap out on that, or you can charge
12-hour, damn.
Yeah, 12 hours. And on the Pro series, you know, you have all of the same features, you know, but you can also you know, that thing also you can swap out, like I said, or you can
35 minutes.
charge it on the go while you're using it.
35 minutes. 35 minutes. Don't give me your 12 hours. 35 minutes.
There's a lot of good things that was going on with this, you know, and I thought that, you know, for the professional guy out there looking to grab one, it was a great idea, because now, you know, the pro grade focusing with the light, with the, you know, from the was that the Ronin 4D with that LiDAR rangefinder.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's funny because this one, when you started, remember when you said I was saying things that didn't make sense to you? Well,
yeah.
This one here really is going to kill you. This one's got 43,200 ranging fine points within 14 meters indoors. So I don't know.
Really?
Anything to you?
So so the LiDAR has 14,000 points of light.
Yeah.
And works within 14 meters.
14,200.
14,200. Let's get it correct. and works up to 14 meters.
Yeah.
Indoors. Okay. It's still Steven.
So they have a new focus mode.
We're both gonna stick with the drones and leave the camera stuff to Herman.
I mean, he obviously makes way more money than we do.
They got a new right?
He makes 35 minutes. 35. Come on, guys. Come on.
It's got a new focus.
Look at this gimbal cover. It takes me 35 minutes to get this battery down, 15 minutes to get the gimbal cover back on again. You can't beat that. You can't beat that value.
Yeah, right.
12 hours. Don't give me that rubbish. Don't give me that.
But I felt so bad.
But Lawrence, I knew you would get a kick out of this LiDAR because I know you're a LiDAR guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it has, you know, but this thing has three times the strength that the last focus motor had, with 50% less noise, believe it or not. So with this built-in 30 millimeter camera that it has, right, that has a 70-degree field of view.
Okay.
And DJI's proprietary technology chip that's in it, you can't beat this.
If you say so.
But if you really want to get into it, no, seriously, the DJI now has got a bunch of SDK series that for this, so that everyone can make parts for this new Ronin.
Okay. Well, that's good. At least they're letting somebody. At least they're trying to let somebody else eat.
They did that. They extended it, but you know, one of the things that I know you wanted to know was the price, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for the RS3, right, standalone, just the gimbal itself, is It's $549, which is not much different from the last one.
Okay.
And the combo is $719.
All right. Under $1,000, acceptable.
Now for the RS3 Pro
See.
standalone is $869,
So you're getting too close to 1,000.
and the combo is $1,099.
DJI loves that magic number, Stephen. 1,000.
Now for the transmission system, right? For the combo, right? For everything,
Yeah.
right, is $2,499. Now, if you want just the the nice video transmitter, that's $1,099, the same as the gimbal. And if you want the what is it here? The remote, the high bright remote control screen, the one I told you that can get the handles. It's you can be your own director and film your own movies with it.
Right.
Control the camera yourself. If you have your own jib or your own, anyway, that right there is $1,699.
So after all of that,
they all work in conjunction with each other.
Of course they do.
Even if you have the old system, the transmission system works with this too.
Hey, Stephen, are you familiar with the cartoon Voltron?
No.
It was a robot. It was a cartoon.
Oh, yes.
But it was a bunch of kids in lions, and they would say, "Form Voltron," and they would turn into the feet and the torso and the head and a giant sword.
That's how they did it.
Everyone's going to keep buying all this DJI stuff, and overnight while they're sleeping, this stuff is going to form together and walk out their front door.
Well,
you're absolutely right. But you know what? When they do that and everything forms and everything works still and everything is up, I'm still there trying to get this fucking gimbal on.
Right.
You know what, Stephen? I was thinking, like, when Lawrence is saying that, more along the lines of that, in a few years, I'd be able to get some cement and build a house out of all of this DJI shit.
Yeah. Or
Like
you can build
bedrooms.
Or you can build your own Ultron as well,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, where does it stop? Hey, Chris, what's up, man? Drone Life
7 bedrooms or something like that.
Now, are we going to get into this transmission thing? Because I wanted to hear Steven's honest opinion on some things, and I know he's very critical and opinionated, and will not pull any punches.
Well, I wanted to ask Stephen a lot of questions about it. Well, not a lot, just a couple, because I hear a lot of talk about the transmission, and then I hear a lot of guys not having a problem at all. And then I saw Dobo's video, and Dobo is the kind of guy that when he puts out a video, there's no fluff and no bullshit about it. And he's going to tell you the truth of how he feels about it, whether he likes it or not. And if he doesn't like it, whether, anybody cares or not, that's your business. But he absolutely loved it. And I was watching another stream where guys were talking about how long, how far they can get before it disconnects. And another guy I watched, he got further with his Mini 2 than he could with his the Mini 3 Pro before disconnection.
Wow. That's interesting.
And I was just wondering what was going on with that, because
right. Okay, so many of you have probably seen my video that I brought out a couple of days ago, when I'm talking about radio transmission. Now, it's not something that I took too seriously until I started to do the drone shows. So when we started to do these drone light shows, radio became pretty much the forefront of what we do. And what I learned is that, yes, okay, we have GPS and we have radio, but radio is the most, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the most, it's so uncertain. It changes all the time.
Yeah.
We will have someone who's with us. Sometimes we have many people. So there's ones when we were in Papua in Indonesia, and we had 5 people to monitor the radio.
Wow.
Five people, right? Who they had their laptop and they had their spectrum analyzer. And that was only for us. That was only for us. And do you know that during every day that we were in operations, we could see fluctuations in the radio. We've seen so much fluctuations that there are times when we couldn't fly because the radio was so bad. Now we're in the one location. We're not changing. We're in one location. Now, we managed to track down what was given those fluctuations. And it varied from small telecom, if you want to say modems, but small antennas that were being switched on at certain times of the day, because there are antennas that are always on, but there are certain boosters that come on when there are a certain amount of people in a certain area, you see, and that gives the boost. Now, when that gives you a boost, it also boosts the radio frequency in the area. And we could see spikes. And the spikes were so bad that we had to go and ask to have these things switched off, because otherwise we wouldn't.
Wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
And I even have photographs of this equipment. I even have photos of the spikes, right? Which I think I'm going to do a video on, because people have been contacting me saying, no, it's the drone, because I think it was Air Photography had done a test. He flew his Mini 3 and then he flew his Mini 2. So therefore everything's okay. And I said, but that's not a test. If you want to test, you need to do multiple tests at the same time. You need to fly your Mini 3 and your Mini 2 at the same time, at the same height, to the same location, on the same frequency.
Right.
That is in a test, but you have to do that multiple times. You have to do that 4,
under
5,
different
10,
conditions as well.
Under different conditions, but in your control.
The
and then you in the exact same location, same height, same frequency, same distance, and then come back. You then compare the logs from all those flights. Now, whether it's going to be 5, 10, 20, but 2 flights is not a test. That is not a test, because when that person flies and then comes back and then gets another drone, the conditions have actually changed.
Yes.
You don't know.
From second to second they change.
Now it may not change, but there's a pretty good chance that it will. If you have a fire truck that is passing underneath, that can be emitting some frequency stuff. If you have, if you're passing a house, so let's say a drone is actually nearer a house, it can have more frequency issues than the other drone because it's not nearer. So there are so many variables that you have to look at, that you have to take into account. And I never thought about this until we started doing the drone light shows, because we were looking at the amount of drones in the sky, and we were trying to measure the distance between the radio, because if we were having radio issues, it wasn't affecting all the drones, it was affecting some of the drones. So we would have to try to locate what is affecting that, what is down there that is going to be affecting that side, but not that side.
Right.
And and we would gather logs. So we would take logs from X amount of drones and then X amount of drones and compare those logs and then compare from the spectrum analyzer that we would have. So we were, running all this data to come back and say where, what is seeing the frequency, at intervals and what's not seeing it, and are we seeing it down here on the ground as well? So there's, it's a very contentious issue, and not everyone understands it. Everyone is seeing it through a kind of a blinkered view in a sense, and I don't think that you'll ever really resolve this. There may be, and looks like there are some drones that are having that issue. I'm not having that issue, but I still see, and I'll give one example. Last Friday, I was flying. I was flying alongside an M300, and both of us got to a certain point next to a boat. Now, it wasn't a big boat; it was a kind of a small boat, not too small, but it was kind of
the one you were dropping a target you were trying to land on.
Yes, that
Yes.
boat. And as soon as we both got there, we both started to get interference. Now, this was an M300,
Right.
which also had a 5G connection on it as well. 5G connection. And it also lost the connection. It lost the 2.4, 5.8, 5G, as well as myself. Now, if I was flying my drone, I would have thought, damn, I'm having issues and this is a crap drone. But in actual fact, when we brought the drones back and we looked at the logs, we both seen that exactly that point, right next to the boat, we lost connection.
So Stephen, what you're saying is that, excuse me a second, Lon. So what you're saying is that the guys who are not seeing these problems, just because you're not seeing this problem, there's a possibility that because you're not seeing those problems is because of where you're flying at the time that you're flying there. And you might see those problems someplace else if you're flying at the right time.
I agree with that. I agree with that because
that's been the case for years with drones, though.
Yeah, I know. So what is different about this? What is different about this?
True.
If you're flying in a built-up area, if you're flying, if you're flying behind trees, all that kind of stuff, it will have an effect on your drone. It will have an effect. Now, if you're going to test this, and if you're going to, let's say, look at tests, a test is many flights. It's looking at the data. Having a spectrum analyzer is also a very, very good thing. And this is something that we used to have with us all the time.
Okay.
We've had one show we done.
Did you have that with you when you do drone shows?
Shows? Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only time that we've had a show where everything was perfect was when we done a show in Dubai for Chanel.
Okay.
And we had zero, and I mean, it was the cleanest flights that we ever had. Now, we done about 10, 20, I would say we done about 45 flights in the space of about 5 days, right? 45 flights in 5 days. And we had zero, and I mean absolutely zero interference.
Okay.
Now, that was a real rare thing for us. And I still talk about that. We still talk about it as a team. We're still talking about. Can you remember Dubai when we had like zero interference? We didn't see any glitches at all. And but then we have other shows where it's just a mess. And you can have someone sitting next to you going, "Oh, I can see a spike." And then that guy's running down this. He's actually running down the road with his laptop. He's running down the road with his laptop. He's got his partner who's got the spectrum analyzing, let's say, radar, and they're running around trying to locate where this interference is coming from.
Right.
Well, see,
that's what you do.
see, I understand what you're saying, Stephen, but I see some of these guys that have done these so-called tests and analyzed their drone and stuff like that. Some of these guys are saying, well, I'm out in the countryside where there really isn't much. And there's guys who are in certain areas, city area, we're not having this problem. Like I said, once again, it all has to do with location and when and what's happening at the time. But the one thing that I do know from experience, and it wasn't good with Wi-Fi, and I don't know how good it is with the new OcuSync system, but I don't know if you can see this. This is a Phantom 3 standard controller. And what you see right here, these are two antennas.
The patch antennas
that sit inside the controller. Now, I'm almost positive that they have something similar to this inside that controller, because they can't have no antenna at all.
right.
And I don't know how well it works now, but with this setup, here in the city, you didn't get very far with this. We talk about certain places here in the city, you don't have to worry about line of sight. This thing wasn't leaving your line of sight.
Yeah. But it's also the power that it's emitting as well. So
therein lies the problem. And I do believe I agree with you. I do believe, Stephen, that they dumbed down that controller, the power,
well, that could be the
quality of the quality of the antenna.
Right, to be able to push you into that integrated system. That I believe, that I told you this a long time ago, Lawrence, that is where DJI was going to go with their controllers, and that's where they want everybody to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
architecture.
I think that the power, to keep everything smaller and compact, and also cheaper as well, could well be an issue. But but if I can just go back to what I was saying earlier about those who have been doing tests, and I really use I use that, let's say, for inverted commas, and they're flying, they are flying far, right? So they are flying where they can't see, so they're going, let's say, beyond visual line of sight, and they're having interference or they're having disconnection. They cannot see what's in that area. They don't see anything. They can't see what's on the ground. They don't know if there's any towers. They don't know if there's any fire engines. They don't know if there's any other kind of equipment down there. They don't see the environment. When you don't have visual line of sight. So when we're doing our stuff and we have the drones in the sky and we have interference, we can find it because we know where that drone is, and we try to find the nearest power that is emitting, which is actually affecting that. You can't do that when the drone is far away. All you get is disconnection. And the first thing you do is you blame the drone or you blame the remote. But you don't have the ability to see what's actually around in the environment.
Well, Stephen, I got one for you.
Okay, go.
And this has happened where you'll have, and I've had the drone out, and I know where it is. I can see it. It's just above, the building. Because of the sun and the way the light is hitting it, I can barely see it. Lawrence is on the ground.
Are you talking about Sleepy Hollow? Are you talking about the bench incident?
The who?
The bench incident?
No. And Lawrence can spot the drone, and now I'm bringing the drone in. Now, whose drone is this passing by?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, what's that about?
Yeah, we were at Stephen. Luckily, Stephen, we had just finished flying.
A visual line of sight.
Now, with remote ID, we would have known there was another drone pilot in the air, but I was already on the ground. Herman was coming in. We were flying, getting some shots of a fancy 4-star hotel. And he just got below the height of the fence of the perimeter of the park. And the drone just goes right over us as we're looking up. Yeah. The drone pilot had no idea we were in the area. We had no idea he was in the area.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's talking about
that's when it becomes, I don't know, we have the airspace and of course, again, this will come down to a contentious issue, but this is where how popular the drones are becoming. They're selling, they're selling lots of them. So therefore we need to have some sort of flight management, because otherwise,
you're right.
You think I've had this once before. I've had this once where when I had my first Mavic Pro and I was flying it, and someone was flying a Mavic Pro above my head, and I couldn't work out why that this thing wasn't moving, or this thing wasn't doing what I was telling it to do. So my drone was somewhere else, going up and down and back and forth. I could easily have crashed that drone because me thinking that was my drone, And just now think how it's going to be in 5 years' time when these things are let's say much smaller, much lighter, much better, and and all of a sudden they're all over the sky. Unfortunately, it has to be controlled in some way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's funny because you mentioned that, as I bring you to a funny story that happened the other day. I was flying with a group of guys and a few women Lawrence was telling me about. And I'm standing, I want to say like 3 feet, 4 feet away from another guy who's flying. And I'm facing this way and I'm looking at my drone and I see another drone enter into the same area, but he's much higher than I am. And the guy standing there, and I know Lawrence is on the ground, the other guys are on the ground, and the guy standing there, and he's facing that way. So I said to him, I said to him, what's your altitude and your location? And he said, I'm right here. And he called out his altitude. He said 300 and something feet. And I was like, okay. I was like, let me show you something. Whose drone is that right there? He goes, oh, that's me. I'm like, so why are you facing that way?
Yeah.
Because I thought somebody else that's not with us is flying in the area. I'm about to come down.
Yeah. It could be quite dangerous, can't it? Didn't something like that happen with Marcus Crawford or something when they had the meetup or something? Did he not crash his drone or something?
No, I think that drone had a malfunction.
Okay.
Oh, at the meetup in Florida, yes, that was it. That was an hotel malfunction. But
okay.
Can you also mention, Herman, the news that you let me know about Ortel, what someone told you about Ortel replacing parts? Listen to this, Stephen. This is a bugger.
That Ortel is no longer he can't get parts for his Ortel Evo because Ortel's not supporting it anymore. So it's just a pile of junk.
Now keep in mind the Ortel Evo is 1.5 2 years old.
Yeah.
1.5 2 years old. They're already on the Evo.
It's more than that because they've been out a while. I know Kurt had one. Kurt has one, and he bought the two. He loves them. And I really think they're a good drone. I just find it, like I said, I've had bad ordering issues with them and availability. So I just never owned one because of it. Hey, Angie, what's going on? I just never owned one because of that. But if they were ready, available, like DJI is ready and available when they come out, until recent time now, especially if you ordered from Best Buy, you are getting no grease.
Okay.
If you ordered the Mini 3 from Best Buy, you are getting no grease right now.
Yeah.
And you're loving it.
DJI dropped the ball with that. and therein lies my problem, because they have had some really phenomenal releases, but as I get more
is the same way.
As I get more and more involved with drones and learn about the M30 and stuff like that, all DJI does during their release or launch is collect everybody's money and say, all right, let's get ready to start shipping this stuff out. Whoever's first online gets it first. Whoever's 1,000th, 100th on the line, they get theirs accordingly. The store that we're talking about, Stephen, Best Buy, when the Air 2S came out, a week after it launched, I was able to go to Best Buy and get my Air 2S like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The Mini 3 has been out for how long now?
I done the same. I think when I think actually I was in Germany. I think when it was a couple of weeks ago, just after the launch, and I managed to get one when I came back, and I just went to the shop and picked it up. I mean, at that time I couldn't get a fly more kit. I literally had to wait about 2 or 3 days, and I think it was actually the day after when I got a fly more kit. So
Really
I'm up and
quick,
running.
Harley FPV had asked, what about the Evo 2?
Yeah, I just told
And
him
I
it's
just
still
commented to him that we do not know yet. Hey, Uncle Bill's
good. No,
Toys,
it's still
but
good. They still support
they're
that.
still supporting the Evo
Yeah, they're
2.
still supporting the Evo 2.
But
That's still running right now.
that's not good to know that you could mess up or crash or damage something, a part on your Evo 1, and you can't replace it. What happened to the day? There's a drone company out there now. People are still flying them. Open source drone. It's a flying brick. It GPS is still Wi-Fi connection, but they're still selling the drones. You know why? Because they still support parts for it. 3DR Solo.
Yeah.
But are they selling what's left, or are they
They're selling
them?
what's left. Yes, they're still selling what's left.
Manufacturing them.
I know there are guys with.
They stopped the support and everything on it.
No, the support that not well. I honestly couldn't tell you up to present day, but you remember Herman, my 3DR Solo went down. How long ago was that?
We had a story on that.
Right.
And
how long was that? Though you remember my 3DR went down?
Shit, that was like
5 years ago. That was before I was DJI.
No, that was.
I've been flying almost
6 years ago, almost 6 years ago.
Wow. Well, Steven,
that was 5 years.
3DR Solo, even though
ago.
their company was shut down, they told you if you contact them and the flight logs show that it was error on the drone's part, they would replace the drone, and they replaced it.
Okay, nice.
They replaced it. So, and it's a fact that Ortel's pulling this with the Evo 1. I know a lot of people that have the Evo 1 that are pissed off.
No, of course, yeah, of course.
Well, if you have it and it's still flying good, and you have a problem, I can see that.
Right.
But you know, there's a lot of people who've ordered the Mini 3 who haven't got it yet, who are pissed off.
Well, yeah, if you order from any of the third-party sellers, yeah, you're really getting it, because you're not getting it.
But my problem, and I love DJI drones. I love their technology. I've gone digital in FPV. I'm flying DJI FPV with my drones. I'm converting everything to DJI format. And my only problem is I'm starting to feel like they're starting to not give a fuck. They want my money, but they don't care if I get my drone. What I'm trying to say is DJI, and this is the views and opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. And by that, I cover myself by saying, I'm honestly starting to believe that DJI is saying, well, if these clowns are going to wait 2 months, 3 months for a drone from Ortel, we can get them for at least a month and a half.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I think is happening with DJI? And I'm not trying to give DJI, the way out, but what I think is happening with DJI as they grow in popularity, because like I told you before, there's a lot of guys in the chat, and there's a lot of guys in the drone community that the mini series brought to the table. They brought them into the community with the mini series. Whereas that years ago, you had to throw your 1,500 down and jump in on the Phantom.
True.
And that was a little steep for a lot of people, especially in certain times. So when you look at that and you say like they've grown in popularity, they've been able to introduce people to different levels of the consumer drone industry. I think, like I said, if they grow in popularity, the demand for the drone has gotten so big that with this Mini 3, there was never a market for this Mini 3. I think everybody was happy with the 2.
No, there is a market for it. There is a market for it. But what I will say,
but not so much here in the States, Not so much here in the States, but I think that the market people pride for it.
Yeah.
And that's why here in the States we're kind of suffering a situation where so many people want it and has ordered this thing now that the demand for it, they don't have as many to put out, or it wouldn't still be a pre-order everywhere.
Yeah.
Even on their own website.
But I think we can agree that what DJI have done, they have created a new form of aviation, and that is that obviously drones have been around for some time. FPV has been around for some time. Model aircraft has been around for some time. But what DJI have done, they have really emulated unmanned aviation, and they've created this whole new sector that some of us are actually living off of. I'm a very lucky person.
They created a need.
But they've also, one of the reasons why we actually started the Flyby Guys is that we wanted to look at technology. We wanted to look at how we would push drones into a certain area of other sectors. So, for example, telecom, for example, power, and all that kind of stuff. But it takes quite a lot of work. We did have the technology to do that. We just hadn't convinced these sectors that this was the best thing for them to do. Now they are saying that this is the best thing for us, and they're saying we want it, and this can actually help us. It brings us lots and lots of value. So, so I've stuck by my guns in such a way where I've said that that this is where we should go, and we are doing that now. We've been lucky with the drone shows. That has been great. It really has given us lots of experience. I've learned a lot about managing, let's say permissions, how to handle customers, radio, and interference, GPS interference, all that kind of stuff. I've learned a great deal, which I would have learned if I wasn't there. Now that takes us into this next sector. And it gives us, it has, I can't do anything else now. This is what I do. And my knowledge is vast, and it can only help others as well. So, but that's what I think DJI have done. They've launched a new form of aviation, which has given people joy in terms of hobby. Lots of people here, I'm looking at these people, they all fly. They love to fly, but there's more to it than that if that's what they want to do as well.
Well, you know what, Stephen, I actually ordered one, and I don't have a need for it, but I ordered it because I found that it was so much different. It was such a leap from the original Mini, the Mini 2, even the Mini series period. I can see when we did 101 stories here, we extensively talked about this Mini 3 as it came about, even from when they had the framework of that thing. And I saw that DJI was just going to make this one different. They had like the $6 million man, they had the technology and the capability to make this one the greatest, the bigger, better, and faster than ever before. And and that's why I jumped on it, because they packed a lot into such a small, tiny little thing. And its ability to fly is what makes it important, because if it can't get there, it can't get the shot.
True.
It's also the sensor size is quite important. It's slightly bigger. It's slightly bigger than the Air 2, not bigger than the Air 2S. I do think that this time next year we will most likely, we will probably definitely have a sub 250 with a 1-inch sensor. That will be that. I mean, that will be it.
I see that happening,
that-
and that would still remain within the 250 gram guideline.
We're still, yeah. I mean, you can see where they've shaved off. You can see holes.
It's
You know,
funny
there are
you say
holes where
that,
they've
Steve.
shaved off. Yeah.
Because it's funny you say that. I said to Lawrence, I said, Lawrence, you know what's coming next, right? The Micro Four Thirds is the is the base, is the main camera for, you know, anything in your top level drone camera. If it's not
Sploosh.
Micro Four Thirds,
I'm
forget
only
about it.
I'm only going to say sploosh. It's such. It will be. It's just. I mean, it will be. You know, that will be a license to print money. That you know, that's all it is.
In the next 40 years, the camera on our drones will be as big as the car, and the drone will be about this big.
Yeah. And I say yes. I say yes. I want that sensor size to be a little bit more bigger. It's good. It's better than the Mini 2. I've got the Mini 2 there. And I love the Mini 2. I throw it in my suitcase. And that is my travel drone. I'm not sure if this is my travel drone. I'm you know, it's a bit bigger than my Mini 2. I love just throwing it in the suitcase. I don't think I'll be throwing this in, even though it's still the ugliest drone they've ever made.
It's the baby frog.
Yes, the DJI drones look like frogs, and if you put a green skin on that, I've seen a green skin on this drone, and it looks like a frog.
If I woke up in the morning and this was lying next to me, sorry guys, no.
Well, you would be worried that you didn't roll over on it and crush the propellers or break a motor or something.
This is true.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm I do like it, and I really like the remote as well. I think the remote is very nice. I
checked it out. It's very lightweight, tiny. I think they tried to combine the other controller with the smart controller.
It feels. The thing is, it feels cheap. That's the only thing.
It does because
kind of does. And I looked at it and I held it and I compared it to the RC Pro.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to the RC Pro in the diameters, the hard plastics, the actual shell of it is just a little different. It looks like it's the same shape, but it's little different.
But even the controller for the Air 2 and also the Mini 2. It feels sturdy. It feels quality. It feels quality. Even, dare I say, even the remote for the Mavic 2 Pro feels good.
Stephen,
feels good.
I said the same thing in the body of the actual shell, the body of the Mavic 3, as opposed to the Air 2S. The Air 2S seemed a little bit more sturdy throughout the body than the Mavic 3.
Yeah. Well, that could, I woke up next to worse. I don't doubt you have. But components are becoming, lighter and and smaller I do miss but one thing I love about this, and of course many people talk about it, is the fact that you can turn the camera bloody thing. But turning the lens to go to portrait mode, it's really I love that with the Mavic Pro. I really love that, and I used to use that.
That is the next step, and that's really good. But couldn't DJI do that with the software
With what?
No, it
to turn
has
the lens vertically?
no, it has
They
to
Inside the
be.
already, but they're
camera?
already doing it. Get to where, check out where I'm going with this. They're already doing it with that little sensor and the overclocking of those smaller sensors.
You would have to be able to program the sensor to read in a certain
Yeah.
way,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I don't know if they can or cannot do that.
Without restarting the drone.
No. I
Yeah.
don't know if it can be done. You know, cameras do that already. They
Yes.
read certain portions of the sensor when in certain modes and at certain frame rates and certain video sizes. They read certain portions of the sensor because it's not designed. For cropping, they call it.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll crop.
I tell you, I'll tell you just a very, very, very quick little story. I remember because my first drone was a Mavic Pro, right? And I was so used to this portrait mode. Yeah, I used to use it a lot, and I think it was Chris, the other flyby guy, who said that the portrait mode is going to be the best thing for Instagram and Instagram stories, because Instagram stories came out around that time, and he even seen that back then, and of course he's right, because now this is now even more popular. But I remember when we got a Phantom 4 version 2, we got the Phantom 4 version 2, and I was doing a job. I was literally, I didn't even have time to go and fly it and test it. I literally got it out and I was flying, doing a job. And I was looking for where is the portrait mode? And I was on the Phantom 4 going, where is the portrait mode? And I could not find the portrait mode. And I had to take my phone and actually Google and go portrait mode on the Phantom 4. It doesn't exist.
No portrait mode.
No portrait mode. And I was like,
professional shooting only.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Right. And that was literally the end in a way, because I wasn't using the Mavic Pro much after that. So now we have the portrait mode back finally after 5 years.
I think you might see it in everything going forth, because they put a Ronin type of gimbal on that drone.
Yeah.
So is that you can actually do that.
Yeah. I would hope so. I really would hope so. It would be nice to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be here to stay. I mean, unfortunately, especially in that drone, you may not see it as much in, say, like the more prosumer or pro drones, but in that drone, or maybe even in the new Air series, you will probably see that feature more prevalent than ever, because I think it's here to stay.
Everyone's quite excited about it. Everyone's really excited.
Is out there. You even got people, their grandmother out there doing all kind of, and on TikTok and all that crap, and stopping traffic with all.
I'm glad you stopped, Herman, because it looked like you were falling back in your chair.
I actually think we should have a TikTok account for the two of you when you go walking and you get lost. I think there should be a TikTok account just for you both. Especially when Lawrence drops the lettuce.
What, you know what? No, seriously. Hopefully, as things get better and technology grows and the FAA and other countries start allowing certain things, companies like this here, me and Lawrence had talking about here, but Whisk Aero, they're trying to bring autonomous air taxi to Australia. Whoa. Advanced air mobility leader Whisk Aero has formed a partnership with the council mayors of Southeast Queensland in order to introduce autonomous air taxi service to the region. Now, for me, from what I understand, the best part of this is that it will bring jobs to the area.
Well, I agree with you. I just want to start this video and pause it really quick. I have a problem with this.
What?
Every quadcopter, every eVTOL that I've seen has had wings.
Lawrence, give me a
Props.
second. Someone's knocking on the door.
What happened? Okay. What I'm saying is, Stephen, real quick, and everyone in the chat, every eVTOL that I've seen has had props longer than the size of the actual motor. And this particular company right here, I mean, I guess it works. It's airworthy. They're talking about taking these things like I was hoping to see more video footage I had queued up, but apparently, wait a minute, let me try and go a little further. Here we go. It flies. Okay, it has a few more motors than everything else and has a main prop in the back, but I just maybe I'm spoiled and I'm used to seeing real propellers. Maybe they know something I don't. You understand what I'm saying, Stephen? It's I'm just saying I've seen a lot of stuff with propellers and eVTOLs and that particular style. I'll share it so you guys can look at the video and hear the sound and everything. But
I'm going to call bullshit on this. Okay. I'm going to call bullshit.
Thank you.
Like every air taxi story out there, like every, and do you know why they suddenly have these partnerships with all these councils? Do you know why they suddenly have all that?
Money is flowing that way. People are scamming other people. Yeah. It's like the blood thing. It's like the blood thing that they had here in the States. You had a young lady that says, from a drop of blood, I can tell whatever your ailments are, and we can help come up with a cure.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. You remember that bullshit?
Yeah.
So there's the same people with the ancestry thing, but go ahead.
Yeah. So there's all this smart mobility and you know, the green values that they want to bring to the cities. So I mean, the governments are giving lots of subsidies. They're giving lots of money for them to do research, and it's research. It's not this is going to happen. It's all research, right?
Right.
So they will have aviation companies, they will have drone companies that come in, and they will have collaborations. They'll have these you know, where they will work together for a couple of years, and they'll just produce results that will say, yes, this can fly. No, we don't have the ability because we don't have the infrastructure for it. We have these tests all the time here. I know people that are working in these projects, and it's all bullshit. It's I've never seen so much bullshit in my life, because nothing comes from it. Nothing comes from it. I've you know, I'm in groups where, you know, people are sharing this stuff, and Stephen, have a look at this air taxi, and I'm like, yeah, guys, we don't even have BVLOS yet with drones.
I know.
You know, and you are spending time, and I know that there's money being spent, and there's stuff that I'm doing. There's like projects that I could be working on that are being wasted because I'm being really kind with my words here. That these people are wasting. That they're wasting
billions
money
of dollars. I agree with you. They're wasting, and it will come to billions of dollars right now.
And it actually pisses me off. So I think it was last Friday. So we have a project here in Finland, which it's actually an EU project. So there's a few countries involved, and I've been kind of doing consulting with them, and they've stopped talking to me now because I just go, nah, rubbish, never work. It's just, nah, that's not work.
Right.
But I met someone last week. We at this drone event that we had on Friday, and someone was at this. The guy goes, "Oh, you're Stephen Flyby, guys, yeah. So what do you think about this?" And I just said, "Bullshit." And the guy's going, "What?" I said, "Bullshit. It's absolute bullshit." And I gave him this speech, and he went, "Thank you." Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest, because when people are involved in these things, they're just, they kind of, there's this rhetoric of, yes, this is how it has to be in the future and we have to do it, rather than say, why don't we plow money into something which we know will work, which we need to have work on, like BV loss and all the rest of it, rather than waste money on a fucking air taxi, which is never going to work. It really pisses me off. Air taxis.
Well, you know what, Stephen? I don't see it working in the form of how they've mentioned it as far as an air taxi. There are people who can't afford a regular street taxi.
Yeah.
In the form of an air taxi, no. If you want to tell me that you're looking to replace the gasoline powered helicopter the same way you're trying to replace the gasoline powered car, I'm all in agreement with you. But for you to tell me that we're going to have air taxis, I want to be able to run outside and go where, I might as well keep on going where I'm going before I find an air taxi hub to get one of these air taxis to go where I'm going.
The technology is still not there.
It's
still not there. When you see these demonstrations,
Stephen, I'm like 20 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, but right? you're a perfect example of what that should. But that is that will take you 5 minutes, or will take you 4 minutes.
But see, here's the thing. For me to get to wherever they may put one of those hubs for me to take off from, I might as well have kept driving to the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know.
But Lawrence was that. Lawrence can sneeze and get some of the sputum on the airport. By the time he gets to where they might put a hub, he might as well just keep on going to get to the airport.
Yeah.
I don't see them air taxis coming to my neighborhood. You can barely catch a bus or a train, and you're going to bring in air eVTOLs? Come on.
But thinking about like Volocopter and all these other companies, it's the amount of money that is being invested from venture capitalists into these companies, which also really, really pisses me off, because they're not going to get that money back for a very, very long time, even if air taxis do work, right? If it does become a thing, it's going to be 5-10 years. Well, now they're not going to get their money back for a very long time. If they get their money back, now I'm hedging a bet that they won't get their money back, which means that venture capitalists don't trust unmanned aviation, which makes it even worse for us and other companies like us to get any possible funding. Because if we go and say we've got this great idea, we blah, 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 they go, well, I just wasted $5 million on Volocopter. What makes you think I'm going to invest money in you?
Right. But see, Stephen, if you even think about it, like Whiskey Arrow, they're talking about with this thing here, right? And this council of mayors, Southeast Queensland, they're looking forward to the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. So either they have, I don't know, do they have the Olympics lined up that far ahead, or are they hoping to get it?
Guys, in 2032, I'll still be on this gimbal cover. Trust me.
Listen, it's that time, guys.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny because everybody's talking about being available and ready to launch for the Olympics in France. So let's see what happens. You know, there's a lot.
I don't think so.
A lot of money riding on it. Yeah. Listen, get your money and get out if you can.
Yeah, Lawrence is right. It's time to go. I have a flight to catch tomorrow morning. So,
Lawrence, we flying when?
Friday I have to go to the hospital, so it'll probably be Saturday. But tomorrow I'm just gonna veg out. I've been running all week.
Yeah, I know. What about Friday evening?
That's possible. I could probably leave the hospital and stop over by you. That's highly possible, weather permitting.
Okay, let's shoot for that and Saturday morning.
Okay, all right,
'Cause I
that'll
bought a lot
definitely
of
work.
time last week, Friday.
I know. We yeah,
I could fly. I
we
bought a
did.
lot of time last week.
Stephen,
I
I'd
took
like
one
to
for the
thank you,
team.
man, for coming on.
Lawrence, Herman, thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure, as always. It's
Yes,
always
Stephen.
good to come on
Thank
your
you
show.
very much, man. I
You know.
appreciate having you on stream. You know, you're always bringing like another added layer to what we're actually talking about. So
No,
This is true.
It's nice.
you have hands on with the mini because on the mini 3 because I'm one of those people who did the bonehead move and ordered mine from Best Buy. So I'm kind of like
In limbo, like Bitcoin.
yeah. Well, no, people have got their money from Bitcoin. I'm still waiting.
That's very true. Very true. Buy now, buy now, buy now.
Yeah,
Buy now.
yeah.
I guess it's that time, Lawrence.
Yes, man, it
Get
is.
out of here.
Thank you.
So,
Fly safe, guys.
thank you, guys. See you guys later.
We
But
think
Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
Those guys.
And I see you guys on when will we be back, Lawrence?
Sunday.
Father's Day.
Oh, wait. You know what? We may not be on Sunday.
Why? What happened?
I don't know. Somebody's gonna. If I plan something for Sunday, they're gonna say, "But you're a father," and I'm gonna go. So
Oh,
it's another day to me, because it's not fair. I'm gonna make this really quick so we can get out of here, Stephen. But it's not fair that Mother's Day starts the day before Mother's Day and goes to the day after Mother's Day, and Father's Day ends at dinner at 5 p.m.
listen, you'd be lucky if you get an allspice or something like that for Father's Day or
Let's get out of here.
a card.
Don't
that was
make me
made on
curse. Don't
construction
make me
paper.
curse. I was good tonight.
Nice. Be good.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you all.
Yes, good night, everyone. Hopefully, we'll be back on Wednesday. If not, on Sunday. If not, we'll be back on Wednesday with some new and interesting stories for you. Good night, everyone. Fly safe. Be safe. Make sure you stay safe. And don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything Lawrence wouldn't do. Which
Exactly.
yeah. Good night, everyone.